Project 3.2.2, ACES alarm clock. This here is the final ACES alarm clock. It uses this motherboard, this daughter board here, and a motherboard in the back to create an alarm clock effect. It can be powered in two ways. One by the sugar jack in the back, as well as a battery pack inside, which I'll show in a bit. So currently in this final version, only some features are working, not all, but it is enough to create an alarm clock effect. So first of all, we have the alarm set, which I believe is currently active. If we switch the display. Some of the buttons I've found are finicky with the panel mounting. Sometimes also, if you'll see with the add or subtract features, it'll consider the button still on when it's not pressed. And sometimes you just have to press it one more time to stop it, or a few times. Then we can go to the alarm set feature there. You can see currently the alarm is on 0, and you can see that kind of ghosting happening. Right now the alarm is at 19, and the real clock was back at 3 a.m. I think. There's also a brightness feature, which I'll show on the prototype, but that's not working right now. It can stand up on its stand here like a spade, but this stand is also a hinge, so it can hinge back and it can turn into a heart there. The stand has a hole through it, so it can be wall mounted as such and hung from a wall. And then the display, which wouldn't be showing the right way with this switch, if you flip it that way, you can see the display has flipped. Also notice this flickering issue doesn't happen on the Nano and is only with the AT Mega, and might be a case of overload on the interrupts, but that is yet to be confirmed. So now let's look at the inside of the case. The inside of the case is just protected by this back panel mount. And inside is the motherboard and the battery pack. So if you look in here, we have our battery pack, and I can show the case can be powered by these batteries here. As you can see, it's still on. And then inside we have our motherboard. You can see it connected to the switch there and the buttons. But now let's look at the prototype to get a better understanding of what's actually going on in this circuit, because it's kind of hard to understand from just a final version. So this is the prototype, and it includes the full features, some of which weren't working on the final version. So first of all, we have the display here. This is being powered by the Arduino, and the timing of it, as you can just see it tick by a minute, is being done by this Pierce gate oscillator setup here. So there's the inverter, a couple of caps, the crystal here, and some resistors. And that's being fed into the Nano. So it reads the 32,768 oscillations of the crystal, derives seconds from that by counting each oscillation, and then from there gets minutes and hours, which are being put into the display. The display is multiplexed. It's very similar to a 7-segment display, except while it does have segments A to G, there's also a pin for all 4 digits, which has to be grounded depending on which digit you want. So it's multiplexed in that way. Then there are the buttons. So these are the add and subtract buttons here, all debounced, of course. And you can see it can add or subtract. And then if we hold down on the button, we will get a sort of acceleration effect to a higher speed, so it's easier to just set the timing. As well, there is the switch here, which does the same thing. It can flip the display, see 21, 21. And then there is the alarm feature. So right now, if I press this alarm button, it'll flash to show that you're in alarm mode, and that's showing 6 o'clock. So if we get 1 minute out, we are going to see these LEDs start to turn on. And these LEDs are a sort of sunrise wake up, so that you at least partially wake up to the lights instead of just the blaring buzzer. So if we get a minute away, if we go to alarm mode, and you can see that's flashing, we can set the brightness of these LEDs, and how their maximum brightness when you get to the alarm. So let's get them at the brightest there. As well, this brightness button, when you aren't in alarm mode, is going to control the display brightness, and you can go all the way up to the highest brightness down to nothing if you really want that. And then when this alarm finally goes, the Nano is just setting this passive piezo buzzer high, and it's going to beep very annoyingly to wake you up. So there we have it. It is beeping. It's very annoying. So if we press the button, it'll turn that off. It'll turn the LEDs off, and you're good to go. So that's all for this project. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.